I want to now bring up our next speaker, who will introduce a great warfighter for the State of Israel. Please, if you could give a big round of applause to ZOA National Board Vice Chairman, a stalwart supporter of the State of Israel, the great Long Island businessman, Michael Orbach.
Thank you so much, Rita, and good evening, and thank you all for being such good supporters and strong supporters of our organization, the ZOA. Tonight, we inaugurate the Dr. Irving I. Kessler Memorial Lecture. Dr. Kessler accomplished great work as a scientist, promoting public health, and he was also a proud Jew and a Zionist. And an interesting fact is that Dr. Kessler did medical research together with another researcher named Morton Klein. Fun fact, I am very pleased to introduce to you our first guest lecturer, who is doing crucial work both here and in Israel. He is a dear friend and an important partner of the ZOA and an inspiration to us all. Brigadier General Reserve Amir Avivi is the founder and the chairman of the IDSF. They're called the Habitronistim. He retired from the IDF after 30 years in 2017 with extensive national defense experience, including holding the positions as the director of the Office of the Chief of Staff, the Deputy Controller of Security Forces, and the commander of the School of Combat Engineering, among others. After his service, he founded the IDSF in 2020, together with other high-ranking officers, which has now grown into a grassroots movement of more than 35,000, including reserve officers from the IDF, the Shin Bet, the Mossad, civilians throughout Israeli society. The IDF mission is to promote a clear vision of Israel's national security needs and includes government briefings, research, education, and many public appearances. In the weeks and months that followed October 7th, when Israelis were recoiling in shock and the future looked unclear, General Amir made his rounds in the media and in the halls of the Knesset and provided a clear and steady hand and a way forward. In fact, his recent book, entitled Lo Nashuv Achor, or in English, No Retreat, says it all. In 2023, he was named among the top Jewish leaders by the Jerusalem Post. And those of us who were on the ZOA mission last year were fortunate to have him show us some important strategic areas around Israel and to hear his briefings. We look forward to his insight and important updates from the ground in Israel. General Amir Avivi.
But this is a war Israel must win decisively. This is really a crucial issue for Israel. It's existential. We cannot afford not destroying Hamas, and Israel is going to do that. It's going to continue and fight until we reach the point Hamas will be destroyed.
I'm always very, very happy to speak to such a great Zionistic organization, the most Zionistic organization in the US. And yes, I can say that the values of IDSF and ZOA are very much aligned.
National security is first and foremost about national values. Without Judaism, without Zionism, no tank or no airplane can help here. It's all about spirit. We need to stay united and focus only on one thing, on decisive victory, destroying Hamas, bringing all our hostages back, defeating Hezbollah, and bringing back security to the people of Israel. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier General Amir Avivi.
Good evening. It's a real honor to be here in the ZOA dinner. Thank you very much, Mort, for inviting me. I think that, we're 30 years after Oslo. Today, after the 7th of October, everybody in Israel understands how terrible Oslo and the disengagement were. And now it brought us to the 7th of October. But 30 years ago, there was only one organization here in the US standing strong and saying this is wrong, really standing against the whole other organizations saying that Oslo is the right path. This was the ZOA. And I thank you, Morton, for this leadership, because it's not easy. It's not easy to stand against the stream, swim against the stream, and say the truth. And it took 30 years to really realize how wrong everything that happened in Israel in the last few decades was, which brought us at the end of the day to the 7th of October. As we are sitting here today in this wonderful dinner, our soldiers are fighting fiercely in Gaza, in Lebanon. Our Air Force is attacking in Iraq and in Yemen, in Syria. Our fighters are fighting really, really strong. You have on your tables a postcard. Our soldiers, they want only one thing. They want to know that the Jewish people are behind them, that you are supporting them, that you appreciate what the soldiers are doing for Israel. So I encourage you all to write a personal letter to a soldier to let them know how much you care. 2.5 years ago, I got a phone call from some of my generals saying, Amir, we need to meet urgently. Something big is happening. And we had a meeting in my garden in Caesarea. We were like 15 generals. We sat, we spoke for 3 hours, and we realized that we are going to war. That war is imminent, it's going to come. And we wrote an extensive paper, 300 pages, explaining why war is coming, what is going to happen. We presented it to the government, to the defense establishment, tried to really wake up our leaders and army and say to them, you need to get ready. You have only 2 options. It's either going to be Six-Day War scenario or Yom Kippur scenario. It's either we attack first and we surprise them, or they will surprise us, and this will be a Yom Kippur scenario. We also put a picture on the cover of this assessment of a frog being boiled in a pot. And we said, this is Israel. Israel is facing a huge danger, 4 different existential threats. Iran and all its proxies, the Israeli-Arab conflict, the challenge within the land of Israel, anti-Semitism and delegitimation all over the world, and also loss of values. Many Jews who are distancing themselves from Israel, from Judaism, from Zionism. We said to the government, if you don't do something about it, Israel will face an existential threat. On the 7th of October, as devastating and terrible as this day was, something else happened. On the 7th of October, this frog jumped out of the pot. It's not there anymore. God gave us a huge slap in the face and said, Jews, wake up. You are facing danger. You need to fight. And from that moment onwards, we are fighting 2 big wars. One war is fought by our soldiers on the ground, in Gaza, in the north, in the east, fierce fighting. But there is also another war, and this is the war ZOA, we in IDSF are fighting. And this is the war to keep this frog out of the pot. It cannot go back. There are forces who are saying, let's do a ceasefire. Let's stop. Let's keep Hamas alive. Let's let Hezbollah stay in Lebanon. Let's let Iran continue its path towards nuclear weapons. And this is not an option. We need to eradicate our enemies. We cannot find them in 5 years fighting us again. We need to fight until we reach total victory. This is what we need to do. And I can tell you that the Israeli people are resilient. They are strong. They are willing to sacrifice. They are willing to fight. They want to win. And we are in a moment that is very, very defining. We in Israel, President Trump was elected, we set the stage. We pretty much destroyed Hamas. We brought Hezbollah on its knees. We sent 100 airplanes to Iran, and in one attack wiped out all their air defense. They are defenseless now. But this is time for the US to wake and join the fight. And it's my hope that when President Trump will go into office in January, that we'll fight together and bring down the Shia axis. This is our opportunity to really ensure the security of Israel for generations to come. And I see 3 steps. The first one is bringing down Iran and the Shia axis. Afterwards, we can have peace agreements, regional and global. Normalizing relations with Saudi Arabia is not just about one more Abraham Accords country. It's normalizing relations with the whole Sunni world, all the way from Indonesia, Malaysia, Pakistan, Oman. It's a huge alliance that will open new routes of commerce, that will go from India to UAE and on the ground to Saudi Arabia and Jordan to Israel. Israel is going to become the Singapore of the world. All the world trade will go through Israel. But we also need to finish something that started when President Trump started office and we didn't finish. We need to bring sovereignty to Judea and Samaria. And I will tell you this, the bigger the win will be, the more decisive the win will be, the greater the golden age of Israel and the Jewish people will be the day after. The day after we'll have peace agreements. The economy will bloom. There will be massive aliyah to Israel. There will also be baby boom. There is a great, great future awaiting the Jewish people. We need to do one thing. Stay united and fight until total victory. Thank you very much. Thank you.
A true warrior for the state of Israel. Also, everybody, you saw the Brigadier General holding up the postcard. Everybody, please fill out the postcard. They will go to the soldiers. Think about how important that is on the front lines. So please go and sign and send a message. The Brigadier General will make sure that they get there and that those who are fighting for Israel, fighting for the world's freedom, get it. Please make sure you take a look at the postcard. They're there on your packets and your desk. So please, everybody, send a personal message. Let them know that you are with them 100%. General Avivi, thank you. We love you. Thank you.